mainstream media and politicians have told us that guns are frighteningly dangerous and that we'd be safer if more honest citizens were disarmed. We're tempted to believe them if that's all we know, but now we have data that calls their story into question.
But first, most companies waste a lot of money on marketing. The reason why is because they don't have a clear message. You are wasting money on your website, your social media, and your advertising if you don't have a clear, easy-to-understand message. Sage Tree gets it. They've been doing this since 2005. Sage Tree has been helping companies clarify their message and connect with customers. Contact them today and learn about their proven system to help you get better return on your investment from your marketing dollars. Go to sagetree.com to learn a whole lot more.
I like the Christmas rock music we got going on today.
Yeah, that's our boy.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hey, so our next guest is an old friend of mine, Rob Morse. You know Rob from his blog Slow Facts, and he's also on the at least he used to be. I should probably check with him on Polite Society, the podcast. I think he's still a part of that. Rob, you there, man?
I am, and I am still a co-host on the Polite Society podcast.
I thought so. How are you?
I'm great.
It's really, really good to hear your voice. You and I haven't spoken in years, and that's a sin, frankly.
I was going to say, you know how long it's been? I've had to renew my concealed carry license since I moved.
Rob used to be a San Diegan. You and I were fighting the fight side by side, shoulder to shoulder, and a lot's changed in San Diego.
It has.
It's gotten really, really things have gotten a lot better, and we're doing really, really well. And you've gone on to big, great things. Tell us about Polite Society.
That is an ensemble podcast. It used to be called Politics and Guns, but we would go to advertisers and said, would you like to talk about politics and guns? And they heard the word politics. I thought we said venereal disease and taxes, and they just couldn't back up fast enough. So we stole the Robert Heinlein quote. An armed society is a polite society. We thought that was innocuous. It's still Politics and Guns. Runs about 90 minutes. My podcast is Self-Defense Gun Stories. I was at a training seminar, and the guy goes, we're talking, we'd all seen something in the news. Grandma did a great job. And the instructor said, well, we're not sure she did. We know she succeeded, but is what Grandma did best practice, or was she lucky?
Now
that's just a little. Go ahead.
And and you did an article called "Now We Know There Are Armed Good Guys on Our Streets," right?
Yes, I did. We have some data about that.
Give us the gist. Give us the gist of the article.
The short version. The media said self-defense doesn't happen and nobody carries out in public. Well, we couldn't prove it. They didn't publish those media stories. And then a huge survey was done. We asked people, how often do you carry? Did you ever use your firearm in self-defense? What was that like? So we actually know there are millions of us, more than tens of millions, who carry every day, and we've used our guns in self-defense.
That's amazing. So what's the big takeaway? For those who are going to read the article, what do you want them to take away from this article?
Short version, if you couldn't read it, there are 17.5 million of us who carry every day. Look, the media said we know you have concealed carry permits, but we don't know that you actually use them. Now we know. Yes, we do. We've added them up. Of course, the numbers are different in Alabama, where a third of the adults have permits, to California, where you still have 10 million people who live in counties where they could get permits. We assume there are no gun owners in California. Mike, you know better. Your listeners know better. The state with the most gun owners of any state in the union is California.
California. Isn't that amazing? We were talking about, of course,
media.
We're looking at
Yeah,
we're looking at starting LA County Gun Owners as well. We were kind of looking at some of the demographics. One interesting takeaway, of course, we're nonpartisan, but one of the interesting takeaways is what county in the United States has more Republicans than any other county? That's
Los Angeles County.
LA County. Isn't that amazing? There are more Republicans in LA County than there are people in San Diego County. But that gets lost in the media. And, by the way, reputation is well earned, of course. So what's something that was amazing when you were putting together this article and looking at everything? What was something that really stuck out to you? What was an amazing stat or point?
Two other things just made me stop and reel. We asked gun owners, have you used a gun in self-defense? Well, gun owners make up about 30% of adults over 21. And then we said, how often have you used it? Again, about a third. Wait a minute. That's 1 out of 11 of us have said, I needed that gun. Now, that's not each year. That's in their entire life. So we add that up. It's like 1.6 million times a year. The great news, you and I had always suspected this, we seldom have to press the trigger, only 80%. So a guy breaks in, you say, stop, get out or I'll shoot. And we don't have to. He's turning around before we press the trigger. That's what we want a gun to do. Deterrence, if it works, is way better than gunfire.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing that I think is lost in public messaging is when we talk about using a gun in self-defense, we're talking broadly. We're talking about someone that pulls a gun but doesn't have to actually press the trigger. We're talking about somebody that, we're just the presence of a firearm or maybe they pulled the firearm but decided, hey, you know what, I don't have to use it because now the bad guy's mind is changed because he sees that I'm armed. So you guys were using a very, very broad definition of using a firearm, right?
Absolutely. Well, when we ask people, did you use it? And you ask, look, did it make a significant difference in the outcome? If grandma has it pointed at the door and the guy runs away, she thinks that was pretty significant.
Yeah, no kidding. Is there what's your favorite self-defense story? I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but do you have a story that you read about in the news that kind of was a favorite?
We did one recently. A pizza delivery driver goes up. And the reason I like it is it's an everyman story. More of us are doing that job. Oh, it's okay. So it's DoorDash, whatever it is. We're delivering groceries, and two guys try and rob him, and he's up against a wall at a house where he's trying to deliver, and he survives. Because a day before, a delivery driver had been shot 5 times. That driver was unarmed. This driver was armed. We were missing the details. We don't know whether he handed him the pizza, handed him his wallet, and then when their hands were full, he drew his firearm. But we do know he survived 2-1, and he won anyway.
Wow. How do you feel in general? Just the subject, guns and Second Amendment is very, very broad, but just specifically on carrying or maybe CCWs, how do you feel it's going in the country? What direction are we headed?
It's mixed. We see politicians put forth some really egregious infringements because their anti-gun billionaires are paying them. It's pretty obvious they're doing it for money. But when we look at the wonderful thing I also took away from this report, gun owners are everyone.
Yeah.
Not only are we 1 out of a dozen on average, the stereotype is we're old white guys. The point is the fastest growing percentage are young urban women. We're everyone. And okay, Asians are least represented, Hispanics more, blacks in the middle. For Asians to look average, we're talking about a 10% change. It's not that Asians don't own guns. If 1 out of 10 of them said, I should look at that, they'd look as that they become indistinguishable from everyone else. So just as you said about Los Angeles County, the perception is that it's wildly partisan. The fact is we're a 55-45 nation.
55-45 meaning?
Meaning that we think some places dominated. No, it's just a few percent.
I see.
So you and I were at the same conference together where the Republican Party chairman in L.A. said, if I could get every Republican to vote, I would win every statewide office. Yeah.
So you said, what was the statistic? Did you say that one in what is it? 1 in 12 people own a gun, or what was the?
That 1 out of 3 of us own a gun. 1 out of 11, between 1 out of 12 and 1 out of 13 are carrying in public every day.
So just over 1 out of 12 people in America. That's men, women, children?
No, 21 and we're about to run out of, I'm going to hear the music here any second. What was fascinating too, the study admitted it's undercounting us. Interesting.
Wow. That's awesome. All right. Where can folks find more Rob Morse? If you want even more Rob Morse, I love your writing. I've always considered you a fantastic mind in the Second Amendment community, extremely hard worker, and I appreciate everything that you do. If people want to read more about of what you do and want to hear more from you, where should they go?
Well, with the written word, I blog at slowfacts.wordpress.com. My writing is picked up at AmmoLand, and I get to write the weekly Armed Defense column there, Self-Defense Gun Stories, and the Polite Society podcast.
Awesome job, Rob. Really appreciate it, man. Let's connect. It's been way too many years.
Glad to talk to you, Mike. Take care.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.